Okay, welcome to part 2 of me cooking a Norwegian maple, which is an invasive species down here in New York, which it's actually a beautiful shade tree, but it's an invasive species, and it's regulated, which means you can sell it, you can possess it, but I don't think you can plant it, So anyway, it's very hot today. You're under the big top. I have that big tent out since I had the skin cancer, and I got this on a jig. The interesting thing was this was like 16-17% moisture, and then I clamped it. Actually, I have the clamps reversed now, but I had the clamps the other way, and I used a heat gun half an hour on each side for two reasons. I always heat treat before I cook. And one is it removes a lot of moisture, okay? So it removes the moisture, and I was hoping it would take a little bit of a set. So today when I switched the clamps, I wanted to see how much set it took. And for the most part, a lot of it sprung back. It really didn't take the set. But the moisture, after laying in the house, was at 8%, which is what you really want, 10% or under, it's 8%. And that's what the heat treating did. So even if you weren't going to put a back set and you were just going to do it straight, like a straight longbow, it wouldn't hurt to use the heat gun, clamp it and use a heat gun on a straight 2x4, just for the purposes of removing moisture out of a fresh tree. So what I did here was, I'm cooking this, and I didn't want to spend 6 hours, 3 hours each limb. So let's see if I bring this up closer here. If we can see what I did with the coals. Let's see if I angle this down a little bit. Hopefully you can see this. There's hardly any coals here by the riser. And then I built up the coals on the ends. And my hope is that in 3 hours, instead of cooking it for 6, I could cook this for about 3 hours. And it will be golden brown on each end, okay? And the other thing I did too was I made this 68 inches, this rain gutter, and I had another piece of rain gutter. And what I did was I extended it. I can make it as big as I want and make it to fit a jig, all right? So, I got 3 foot here I can play with. But what I did was I put the rain gutter inside the rain gutter, and there's one of those little tiny clamps right over here, okay? And I clamped it. And then it's lined with tin foil, and then it's crumbled tin foil on top of that, and charcoals. So that's it. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to keep an eye especially on the lower areas here. Okay, I have a stick. I always keep a stick. Every hour I knock the ashes off. I put a little more coals. And what's good about this is you get the fireplace gloves, which I have over there. You pick it up high and you can check it and then put it right back down again. All right, so cooking today and hopefully tillering and shooting this bow, but it's beautiful, beautiful wood. I'm hoping it don't break. I hope it works out. We'll see. That's my little experiment. Okay, so if you ever do any videotaping out in this heat, like it's 90 degrees today, it's ridiculous. But your phone will overheat and shut down on you. So what I do is I get a cooler with an ice pack, not ice that'll create water in there, but just an ice pack, a couple of bottles of water for me. And you see this pouch? I keep it zipped, and in here I put the phone, so the phone will stay cool until I need to record it on the camera stand, okay? So that's just a little tip if you're going to do any videotaping in the heat. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of color change. Okay, as you can see, a little color change. This board's been cooking low and slow on the coals. It's been going about 20 minutes to get that little brown color change. I'm going to drop it back down again. Okay, I started cooking this at 10 o'clock. At 10:20 is when I lifted it up to check it, and it looked good. It's cooking. At 10:30, I had to tighten up the clamps. They were so loose. They weren't really going to fall off, but they were getting there. So I tightened all the clamps again at 10:30. Now I'm in the pool looking at it, and you can see the color. It's cooking really good. And like I said, low and slow. So it's going on an hour almost. It's 10 to 11. It's going on an hour. and in 2 more hours, you know, it'll be done. And I may angle it. That's why I have all those screws on the post, all those screws. I can angle it and just work on the tips a little bit. You know, let the tips cook for another 20 minutes each. Okay, so that's it. That's the update. Okay, always protect yourself from the sun. This $120 I bought from Home Depot, this canopy, is the best money I spent ever since I found out that I had skin cancer on my back. And it's been like 2 weeks, and it could take another 2 weeks before I get the results. But what they told me was, it looks like it's the basal cell carcinoma, and if you're going to have skin cancer, that's the one to have. And chances are I just burn it 3 times, and I'll be good. It's not one of the ones that's aggressive or goes to the organs, but I'm still waiting for the confirmation of what it is. And I called up, and I couldn't believe. I says, are you kidding me? You're going to do a test to see if it's cancer, and it takes 4 to 5 weeks? Oh, sorry, that's what it is. So that's kind of ridiculous in itself. But anyway, that's the update. I'm in the pool. I'm under the big top today to protect myself from the sun. All right. I have my hat on. I have my hat on there. I'm in the pool. Got a shirt on, you know. And that's it. We'll let you know. 2 more hours. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this in the house overnight and let the moisture come back into it. And tomorrow, it's supposed to be super hot again, but we're going to try putting string grooves and tiller it. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so about every hour, just knock around these coals a little and knock the ash off. Okay. Knocking the ash off of these coals. And then what I'm going to do is put more coals on top of them once I make sure they're all, the ash is knocked off of them good. Okay. I keep plenty of ash, I keep plenty of coals right here in the back. It's 12 o'clock, it's the last hour of the cook. And again, once again, it's time to knock all the ashes off these coals here and load them up again, okay? I'm just going to give you a rough idea here on the height that the coals were. Okay, they went down quite a bit. But roughly, they're 5 inches off the coals, okay? Just to give you an idea, when I cook this wood, it's 5 inches off the coals, okay? Just to let you know. So now all I'm going to do is, I'm going to knock it around, and I throw some coals on here like this, all right? I won't waste too much camera time. I just wanted to show you the height, and that now I got 1 hour left, and I'm redistributing new coals to cook it for the final hour. Okay, you can see the smoke after putting on the new coals. It takes about 5 minutes and they start catching. And just watch it. You just want to watch it cook again. We got an hour left. And like I said, maybe, just maybe, we'll cook it a little more on the tips, and that's it. That's it for now. Okay, at 2 hours and 20 minutes, it looks like it's cooking pretty good. I'm just checking the clamps. Okay, and what I'm going to do now, at 2 hours and 20 minutes, is I'm going to concentrate on the ends, the tips. Move this a little closer. Watch out for the hot coals. I'm going to raise this up. Okay. So lower this down. Okay. Straighten it out a little bit. There we go. Okay, whatever it takes. Okay, now we got this end over here, right over the coals. I'm going to use a stick, put some over here, put some coals over here. You really don't want to use these gloves because even with the gloves they'll get red hot. Okay, so coals there, then we're going to switch it down to the other side. And we're going to let that go for maybe 20 minutes. I'm going to watch it. But we got nice color. I'll show you soon what it looks like. So 2 hours and 20 minutes, it's basically the whole body's cooked except for the ends. Okay, we switched the ends, and after 20 minutes, I'm done. This one's got to go like 20 minutes. I got it kind of low, so I got to keep my eye on this one. Okay, you can check out the color. And like I say, you always get a little bit of scorching on one part, but that's okay because it's so thick when you tiller it. When you tiller it, it'll come off. Okay, this Norwegian maple has been cooking for 3 hours and it's done. It's done cooking. Let's take it off and check it out. Oh, the clamp's falling off the end. All right, it got so hot. Let's see. We'll do it this way. Okay, look, it's cooked all the way down. All right. Here we go, this way. Cooked all the way down, see? Look how nice, okay? I'm gonna let it cool down, and then we're gonna put it in the house and let it acclimate to the moisture content in the air of the room. And because if you put a moisture meter on this now, it'll be 0. So once it sits overnight, what usually happens is the moisture content is around between 8 and 9. And we'll be able to put string grooves in and tiller it. And that's where we'll find out if this invasive species will flex and give us a bow or snap and not. And we're going to do that micro tillering, and let's see if it works. Okay, so that's it for today. To be continued tomorrow, and we'll find out what happens. It's been sitting for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I took off the clamp. Very little tiny bit of spring back. Pretty good though, look. Okay. Okay. Look at that, we got a nice big back set on that. And I have the moisture meter. And it's gonna read 0 probably. Let's see. It's been sitting for an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, it's reading 0, and once it acclimates to the room moisture in the house, tomorrow it'll probably be around 8 or so, okay? And then we're going to cut string grooves and tiller it. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's a nice looking bow wood. You know, I really hope it works out. The other day when we were tillering Jack's hickory bow that he's hunting bear with right now, you could hear the turkeys in the background. Well, you could see them now. We got 2 hens and 10 poults, right? And the one that's not afraid, she comes up to the back, and it's a hen, and we call her Henrietta. Right, Henrietta? Hey, Henrietta. Hello, Henrietta. You coming up for a visit? Huh? You gonna come up? Yeah. So, anyway, that's the wild turkeys. They fly over the fence, they come, they eat the bird seed, then they go their separate ways. Early this morning, I was looking at the bow, and what I did was I decided that I only have a 26.5-inch draw, so I can get away with a short bow. But I don't know how this Norwegian maple is going to bend. So I originally made the bow 68 inches, and I decided, let me make it 66 tip to tip, okay, and it'll be 64 groove to groove, all right, and that'll be plenty. And so I made the tips, I made sure that they were pretty even. I rounded the edges of the bow, okay, and what we're going to do is today we're going to start flexing it and micro tillering it. We're going to take our time, put it on the tillering board and pull it down very little at a time and use a straight edge, and we're going to determine where we have to take off to get it bending as even as we can. Once we get it fairly well, I have a pulley tillering board, and we'll put it on that and exercise the limbs. So it's reading less than 5%. It's still reading 0, less than 5%. And usually the next day, like this, I get a reading around 8% on the hickory. So you could tell by just looking at this, for now, what I'm going to call the top limb, that could change, is flexing more than the bottom limb. And this is the micro tillering part where we're trying to go get a little bit of even bend, okay? So we need a lot of material taken off from here. See? Oh, big touch here, little space here, little space here. Right. So a lot of material here. Let's check the other side out. So we got a big space here and down here. Down here is touching. So we're going to work on this. I'm just taking a little sandpaper, going to round the edges, and we're going to check it out. My long tillering string. This will be a short, long tillering string. And whenever I, get done with the taking down a little material, I just flex it a little bit. Very little bit, okay? I'm not going for a real heavyweight bow on this one. This is the experimental bow. I have a few more staves. I can make a hunting weight one later. But we'll see. You never know what this poundage is going to come out to. Now we're going to put it back and check it again. Right? Getting there a little better, right? Need a little bend here, a little bit more here maybe. Let's go check out the other side. Okay, we'll see, we got to get a little here. Okay, here, and a little at the end here, but a little here. Okay, maybe a little here too. It's a slow process, but the micro tillering I like, because we're at the very early stages. We're trying to get everything to bend even, and depending if you're making a bow for somebody with a real long draw length, that's a plus, because the more it bends even, the longer it goes back. Okay, I took off some material. Gonna exercise it a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put it on and check it out. Okay, I just want to show you, look at the sawdust. Okay, look, it looks like toasted almond. That's from fire hardening that wood. If I didn't do that and I sanded it, it'd just be white, fluffy fibers. Okay, so toasted almond is the color of the fire hardening. Okay, this micro tillering is a very important process that takes a lot of time, and you should be patient. And I went back and forth several times not to bore you with doing the same thing repeatedly, but this is what we got so far. Okay. Looking a lot better, right? Pretty much, we got a nice bend going on. Nothing touching. Go over here to the other side and you can see. Okay, look, we have a nice bend going on here, right? From what you can see, a little bit here, right here in this area right here. Okay? I'm going to take a little bit off here, flex it, check it, and then when you see me next, I'll be on the pulley jig, okay? Just a little bit. Check out the bend and see what kind of pounds we have at a low pull. Okay, they're looking pretty good. Pounds, 38 pounds at 40 pounds at 15 inches. Okay. So 15 is actually 17. So I won't bore you with me flexing this, but I'm going to exercise it a little bit more, and then we're going to continue from there. Looking pretty good. Two fingers. About 2 fingers, looking pretty good. Wow, we're looking pretty good at roughly 20 inches, and you don't keep it that long on this thing, but we have to check it. And if you look, we still have some back set, and after you do this, you'd be surprised after you shoot them and you spend the day with them. At night, when it regains some moisture back or whatever, it recovers. You come back either even or you get a little back set. So we still have back set. Getting ready to put on a string with a short brace height. That's next, short brace height. Okay, so I put a string with a 5-inch brace height, and I always shoot for a little higher pounds when I pull down, because I know once I put a string on, even though the limbs seem to be bent and even, when you put the string on, that's where you can really tell that one limb don't bend more than the other. So I don't know if you could tell, but the bottom limb needs to bend more than the top. So take a little measurement here from like about the fade out, and this is 1/6 and 1/8 on the bottom limb, what I'm calling the bottom for now, and 6 5/8. Okay, and if we go to the midpoint, it's 4 inches, and we go to the midpoint, it's 3 3/4. So we're going to work on the bottom limb, just trying to take off weight and see if we can get it to match it up, and then we'll see what happens. I'll flex it by hand and keep doing it until we get it close. Well, I heard a little noise while I'm pulling this back, exercising the limb. Could be nothing, or it's going to blow apart. Figure I might as well put it on the camera here. That's it. That's the end of this bow. Well, it was worth seeing if I could use this wood, and I'm only pulling back a little. We're gonna have to put it on the pulley and see exactly where it breaks. Was it worth my time trying? Sure, why not? But here it goes. Let's see where it snaps. There it goes, right there. See, there was a hump there. There was a hump in the grain right there. It may have looked like a hinge, but it wasn't. There was a hump. and that's where the bow's blowing apart. So that's it. All done. Well, at least you've seen the process I go through with heat treating. We're putting on the backset jig. That applies to everything. Just because I got either a bad piece of wood or that species isn't the greatest, you know, still the process, I'm posting the video because it's the process that I go through. The micro tillering, everything. And that's it. It's the end of this video. Sorry it didn't work out for me and for you. Well, at least I have some firewood. Firewood for the pool area. Okay, here we go. See? Lift it up. Unavoidable. I went nice and slow and easy. It's just something that happens. Watch my other videos on Bareboat Joe. Maybe I'll have a little more success. But like I said, I'm posting this because the process that got me to this point, I do with all my bows. And I really love the hickory. Out of all the bows I've had, every bow I've made out of hickory has been a great bow. But I'm going to continue to work on different species and see what I come up with. Watch my other videos. Every day you wake up is a good day.